Hey, everybody. Mr. Puckett here. We're going to talk about vocab roots number 5 and 6 today. I don't know why I gave you a 1 when I said 5, but there it is. Not a math teacher. We're going to talk about our 5th and 6th vocab root today. We've completed the first 4. You've already taken the quiz over them. We're going to have 8 total. At the end of that, we will have a test with all 8 in it. So just make sure you keep filling out your forms and getting them set up. Your first, actually 5th, root is pug. Now, first, when I say pug, you probably think about like a small dog. Look at the little guy. This little dog called a pug. And you'd be like, wait a minute, Mr. Puckett. I thought you said that pug means to fight. I didn't say that yet, but I'm saying it now. Pug means to fight. But what does that have to do with this tiny little dog? Well, side note, interesting history. Side note, these little dogs were bred way back when dog fighting was very popular. They were actually bred as fighting dogs. And so that's, you can see the little scrunched up face and stuff. There's no snout for them to bite. Dogs bite either on the snout or in the neck. Notice neck protected by fat rolls, right? And then snout shortened so you can't bite it. Perfect fighting machine. Anyways, pug means to fight. Some examples. Pugilist. Pugilist is a fighter. It's a very old-timey term for a fighter. This guy right here who kind of looks like Mr. Puckett in his 20s. This is how you get into a fight. That's a pugilist. But anybody's a pugilist. Anyone who gets into a fight. If somebody bumps into you in the cafeteria and you go to punch him in the face, you have just become a pugilist. Also, you are suspended. So congratulations. Next word we have is pugnacious. Pugnacious is eager or quick to argue or fight. People who often argue or will take any slight or any possibility or any chance to start an argument are pugnacious people. Some people say that shorter people are more pugnacious than taller people, but I don't know much about that. You'd have to ask Mr. Dunn. Finally, this last one is impugn. I'm just kidding. It's actually, you don't pronounce it impugn. You pronounce it impugn. Impugn, even though it looks like impugn. But to impugn someone is to challenge the truth, validity, or honesty of what they are saying. When I walk into the room and like my son is standing there innocently and my daughter is crying and she's got a bruise on her forehead and she's laying on the ground and I say, what happened? And he goes, nothing. I'm going to impugn that statement. I think that something must have happened and probably it's his fault. That is to impugn it. You are challenging the validity of the statement. And next, we have a bonus word. We're going to do 2 this week. It's migra. Migra. Obviously, this looks like a word that you probably already know, which is migrate. You can tell, like, migrate has this root here in it. Migra means to wander, and to migrate is to, move around, through with the seasons or whatever. Mr. Puckett's parents are snowbirds. They like to go down to Florida in the winter. They migrate, right? They wander from Indiana to Florida. Some example words: migrant, one who wanders searching for a home. You often hear people talk about, especially from the Great Depression, migrant workers. These were people that lost their jobs and then traveled the United States, specifically the Southwest of the United States, searching for work. And they would go to a town if they heard there were jobs there, and they would stay there for a month, and then they would, maybe move on to the next town once that job, once that work dried up. George and Lenny from Of Mice and Men that you read last year were migrant workers. Migratory means denoting something that migrates. Things that are migratory are things that migrate. Mr. Puckett's parents previously mentioned are migratory people. Birds that migrate are migratory birds. Lastly, emigrate. And notice I said emigrate, not immigrate. It's a very tiny little difference, but you notice the E there at the front. Emigrate. That's to travel away from a country. To immigrate, the immigrate, the one that starts with an I, means to travel to a country. If you are emigrating, you are leaving the country, right? And, to travel to any country, you must also leave a country, but we won't get into the philosophy of that. If you leave the United States for Canada or Mexico, you have emigrated, right? If you move to Scotland, you are emigrating. Anyways, those are the 2 roots for this week. Hope you all have a great week, and go Flashes.